Hey guys. Hello, hello. Make sure this is working. I think we're live. Looks like we're live. Let me know if you guys can hear me. We should be ready to rock and roll. Should be good to go. All right, cool. Well, welcome aboard. Hello. I figure after dropping the lots video, it might be smart if I follow up with a little Q&A. See if you guys had any more questions, and so that's the point of this video, but by all means, I can help you guys out with any questions. So we got about an hour and a half. That's what I plan on doing. Might go a little bit further than that, longer than that. But welcome, welcome one and all. How's everybody doing? Yes, 4th of July. It was good. Kind of just hung out with the wife, got the kids down to bed, and we've been watching some TV, having some fun. How boring is that? Yeah, we had a great 4th of July. We just watched TV from Australia. Wow. What time is it in Australia right now? Yeah, we got the chops. We got the chops rocking. Yeah, I did not make the Hi-Fi Summit. Sounds like they had a great show. So that's really cool. I'm happy to hear that. I just pulled the trigger on an F6, so I'm doing pretty good. Wow, that's awesome. That's great. Yeah, so I'm kind of curious. Well, let me see. We got 26 in here right off the bat, so pretty good showing tonight. Have you guys given lots a try? Have you tried it out? Have you pulled out the masking tape and given it a go? I'm kind of curious what your results were if you helped you guys out. I'm just starved for human interaction mostly. So Jeremy, who is in here, he's actually local. I haven't met him in person yet. I'm looking forward to that. We had a big spike here with COVID-19 here in Arizona because we're outlaws and we do what we want, and now we're paying for it. So yeah, one big spike, and so we're kind of hunkered down right now, trying to play it safe, which is always a good idea. But Jeremy, just picked up a pair of oh my goodness, why can't I think of their freaking ecstatics? Yeah, Jerry search ecstatics, and he's been having some fun. We've been texting back and forth, and I think it's his first experience with Open Baffle, and I think he digs them, which is cool. Kevin Rusa, a usual suspect. Um, Actually followed the old speaker placement vid a while back, and it worked wonders for the Fostex horns. That's fantastic. I'm glad to hear that. I ran the numbers for lots, and my speakers fall in the width parameters, and I think 36 inches is about as much as the wife will allow. Yeah, I get that. I mean that's the thing is everybody has different listening rooms, listening spaces, if you want to call it that. And the reality is that even with my room, I don't leave my speakers out where I typically listen to them. I usually, when I'm done, put them back up against the wall and, you know, happy wife, happy life. Is that the saying? I think it is. Yeah, the F6 is a first watt amplifier, class A amplifier by Nelson Pass, the one and only. It's a great sounding amp too. You'll be happy with that. Argentina. Can you make a comparison of LGK and sound sommeliers? Um, yeah, I can. Yes, I can. The LGKs are going to be more refined from the mid band and up, and the sound sommeliers are going to sound a bit heftier from mid range and below. So there's going to be a compromise there. The sound sommeliers are going to be able to play a little bit louder as well. Um, I would say that's the gist of it. For sure. They're both really, really fun speakers. Totally different applications. The sound sommeliers, they're a little mini tower, right? So you can kind of throw them into a room and dance with them. But with the little LGKs, that's really designed for like a desktop scenario, kind of like a desk like this, where I would just have some LGKs there, and yeah. I only have a shit Vidar and Saga Plus. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. L-shaped room with limited placement options. Lucky can get them placed 3 feet out. Yeah, L-shaped rooms. I knew that was going to come up for sure, and that is a challenge. That's one of the more challenging, I guess. Aside from like a square room, which would be very challenging, small square room, L-shaped rooms, you've got your work cut out for you for sure. Would you do a lots video for subwoofers? Yes, that's actually the plan. So once I had the original lots video, kind of the concept worked out, I thought to myself, well, here's what's going to happen. People are going to try this and they're probably going to realize right off the bat, oh my goodness sakes, where did all my bass go? Because that's one of the consequences to pulling speakers away from the walls. And so now we need to have the conversation of, well, what do you do? And how do you get some junk back in the trunk? And I'm here to help. I'll be able to help you with that. So the next video that I'll be doing with speaker placement is all about lots, but for bass. So yeah, that's what the plan is. Oh, we got a TJ, the stereo bargain file in the house. TJ, I hope that your work schedule is kind of relaxed. I know that you were saying that you were kind of working to the bone there, my friend. Hopefully you're doing all right. Jeremy says, I did kind of some experimenting. The X-Static started originally where my Tectons were, ear toe in and 38 inches from the front wall. After lots, I ended up to 52 inches from the front wall and a bit wider toe in. That's awesome. I'll bet I'll bet they are disappearing. You're like, where'd my X-Statics go? Ron stole them, that son of a gun. Can box speakers produce soundstage depth similar to open baffles? Yes. If we're talking about just depth and only depth, then I would say the answer is yes. Where in my experience, open baffle is going to have them beat is everything that happens within the depth of the soundstage. And so we start talking about layering and then like start and stop action of certain instruments. You kind of have like an particular instrument placed here, and then you have a stop point, and then you have another instrument. That layering type effect seems to be more realistic with open baffle in my experience so far, and they sound quicker, generally speaking. They're just they're it's Jeremy can try and explain it with me because it's difficult to explain. There is a speed to the sound that is just crazy, and it's like it's there and then it's gone, and it's just like this start and stop action, and yeah, yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. Have you checked out the room simulator in REW? I have not. I am familiar with REW, but I haven't checked out the room simulator. I'll have to do that. What subwoofer would you recommend for point 0.7 Maggies? Boy, Gene, give me a budget and let's start there. Because that's a broadband question. So yeah, it's a tough one. What should be the minimum distance between the speakers? In the lots video, I talked about going a third in from the walls, right? So you divide your room into thirds. I would say that that track that you have, that inner track, I wouldn't try to bring it in too much closer than that. And I have had some success in some rooms with the tweeter basically laying on that track, on that one third dividing track, and that's fine. You can certainly do that. But I think anything closer than that, things are going to start sounding a bit funky. I have a feeling. Was just going to ask Ron, how would you balance placement with spatial X5s? I followed the lots guide, but now my base is a little thin. Yeah. Yeah. Now, John, tell me with the X5s, isn't that active bass? If I remember correctly, isn't there an amp on the back that allows you to do everything base related? Answer that question first, John, and then I'll help you from there. Because if the answer is yes, then there's a whole lot of things that you can do, and I'll certainly be able to help you. Let me just see here. Danny says the speed of a driver is relative to how high it plays, which is mostly true, but that doesn't mean it sounds fast, as there is more factors to it than that. Yeah, that is true. And Jeremy, thank you for moderating, by the way. I just noticed there's a wrench next to your name. I must have uh, had you set up as a moderator before. So if you see any scoundrels in here, kick them to the curb. Get rid of them. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to the speed of a driver, we could be talking about stored energy. We can be talking about what you would see in like a spectral decay. How quickly the speaker plays whatever it's playing and then stops playing. It's oversimplifying the conversation for sure, but it's something that's important to Danny for sure. Like when he develops his drivers, is that something he really has worked on a lot. Ron, is it possible to achieve natural bass for music listening with a subwoofer? The answer to that question is yes. Before I go on, it is possible. I have not had much success and ready to move on with standalone speakers with enough punch, home theater, no problem. It is possible. It is rather difficult. Um, if you are only relying on your ears, and that will be a part of the video that I jump into. It'll probably be like measurements 101, the most basic and simplified measurements video folded into the lots video for bass, because you guys need to understand that even at this point, there's no way that I would trust just my ears to tune in a sub. I need to see some stuff, especially when we start talking about the phase relationship between the sub and the mains. A lot of people, they don't get that right, and it's important to get that right. Um, so we'll discuss that. But it is possible. Yes, it is. And a lot of it could just come down to the quality of the sub. I mean, and the type of sub, meaning, like my favorite subs right now are the open baffle H frame subwoofers. And those are a completely different animal than, you know, a ported subwoofer or a sealed subwoofer. It's not the same thing. Um, so yeah. My wife just messaged me and said that our son is starting to say dada, which is awesome. So I win again. Ha ha. They're in the room behind me here. Just making sure that I'm not passing anything. Yeah, sealed versus ported can of worms officially opened. Yeah. And I like both. I like all subs, you know. Um, even though right now, I would say the king of the hill for me is the open baffle sound when it comes to bass. I still can appreciate, subs that pressurize the room. I can still appreciate that sound. There's times where I feel like that does work and it's fun. It's I'm at a point where I feel like it sounds more like an effect than something that's actually natural, but again, in context, what kind of music are you listening to? What are you going for? What are you striving for? All of those things you have to take into consideration and think about. Hey, we got Joey in here. Joey G's audio channel. Joey, I call him Joe. Joe also local, and he's the scoundrel that brought over the Bose 901s, and I've been having a blast with those. Um, you guys probably think I'm crazy. There will be more videos on the Bose 901s, and we're moving things in the right direction. So I'm not done with you, Bose. I'm not going to give up on you. We're having some fun. My living room is rectangle, 12 by 20 with TV in the corner and 2.1 system. How wide should the speakers be? So 12 feet wide. Well, if you do 12 by 3, that's four. I would first strips at 4 feet. And then if we do 12 by 4, 3 feet. So your first strip, your first strip at 3 feet in, next strip 4 feet in, give or take some. And I would that's kind of your leeway, in terms of how wide you can go out. And keep in mind, I mean, you see that here's the thing. The reason for those tracks and that math, it is based on acoustics and it is science driven to a point, but every room is different. Every scenario is different. So where you're going to end up with room modes and problems with bass it depends on so many factors that I don't know. Ceiling height and a million other a million other things. And so it's just a general starting point of where to place your speakers and then move them out and move them in from there, is what you can end up doing. The fact that you have 20 feet of depth to work with is good. That's great, actually. So, yeah. And then also on how wide a speaker can go, that could come down to the design of the loudspeaker. A lot of dipole stuff, open baffle included. I have noticed, especially like with the spatials and the Exoticas, I can park those suckers quite a bit wider than I would with most other designs. I can get them really wide without problems. So yeah, let's see here. I think I missed something. Give me a second here. Ron, can you explain what exactly happens when you move the tone controls out of the middle spot on the Yamahas? I just bought a new AS 1200 and enjoy the brighter sound. Do you have a preference? I don't know what frequency you are adjusting. Your manual should say that somewhere. I would hope. I would hope that it would actually mention. I never messed with the tone controls. I do have the 2200 out there, and I have turned the tone controls to see what happens and kind of listen, but I typically just go back to neutral, and that's my preference. But where the exact frequency, what the frequencies are, do I know? No, I don't know what the frequencies are. You would have to consult with Yamaha and find out. All subs matter. That's funny. That's funny. All right, let's see here. Got some conversations going on between Jeremy and Kevin about subs. Room modes are inescapable, methinks, and that is true. Yes, maybe Open Baffle solves it, but yeah, once you identify where the modes are, they are irritating. So here's the thing: if we're talking about any problems to the 90-degree off access of the speakers, then Open Baffle it doesn't eliminate those issues, but it certainly helps with those issues because you do have that cancellation. But if you're talking about in front of the speaker and behind the speaker, so the depth, then it's the same problems that you would find with any other loudspeaker um, in terms of room modes. And so absorption becomes important, excuse me, and finding where those room modes are. It can be important, even with open baffle, but on the sides of open baffle, you do have 90-degree cancellation, which helps in that arena for sure. Take care, John. Yeah, the phase, I agree with what Jeremy is saying. I think that, first of all, I think that phase on a sub is probably the most neglected knob on the sub. People are just like, "Well, that's not doing anything. I'm turning it up and down, and sub's not doing anything. So what good is that?" And people just leave it alone. And so there's that. And then I think there is a lack of understanding of what the relationship is of that phase. Like what is that related to? And once you begin to understand that it's related to the mains, that they're talking to each other, you're linking the phase up essentially. You're trying to get it to blend to where they're both in phase, then things start clicking. And you can see that in measurements, clearly see it. And this is where measurements become our friend is based on the output and the frequencies and where we're crossing over, we can see kind of where we're landing and it becomes a lot easier. Phase is the relationship between the mains and the subwoofer, Jeremy. So you have that, as wavelengths get longer, right? Wavelengths get longer, you want that phase relationship between the mains and the sub to integrate. And if they're out of phase with each other, you have one coming up like this and one down here, then you're going to have a cancellation. You're not going to have the output of the sub where it wants to meet in with the mains. I'm pretty sure I'm getting that right. And if I'm not, by all means, somebody correct me. But I think that's what it is you're trying to get them to play nice with each other. Hey Ron, the X5s have powered subs. I've got them pulled out about 5 feet per lots in a 13 by 22 room, but also L shaped. I've had to turn the subs all the way up, but it's still a bit thin. Um, okay, John, do you do any kind of measurements at all? Like Room EQ Wizard, any kind of measurements? Are you simply just doing this only by ears, or can we see what's going on with the bass in the room? Do you have that ability to do anything like that? I'm kind of curious. Let me know and I'll keep helping you. Yeah, so continue conversation about phase. Kevin is saying the phase knob delays the output of a specific frequency by X degrees, whatever it is on the sub, up to 180 degrees. And that's true. I've only done it by ear so far, but yes, I've got mini DSP mic and REW. Good. What I want you to do, John, and my email is ron@newrecordday.com. Measure one speaker at a time from the listening position. Let's do a 20 hertz up to 200 is probably all that we need to see. But if you want to do the whole thing, that's fine. Measure from the listening position, one speaker at a time. Change your smoothing to 1/3 and send me some screenshots of what you got, and we'll start from there. One thing that I think everybody needs to realize with lots is you're going to be hearing some amazing things right off the bat, and I think that a lot of people are already noticing that. But at the same time, you're going to give a comfort away that you have been hearing this entire time, which often is actually exaggerated bass, whether it's boomy bass or exaggerated bass. That is no longer going to happen, right? If you get the speakers far enough out into the room. And so, John, it might just take time to kind of acclimate to this new sound, and that might be what's going on. That's why we need to see what the heck is going on. Do we really have, some issues in Basstown? And so, yeah, send it to me. No, my last name is not Jeremy. Yeah, John, happy to help. Honestly, I would love to help you out. Take some measurements and send them my way, and we'll get to work. And I will help you, by all means. And if you want to give me a call, just whatever. My phone number is on my site. Just give me a buzz, and I can help you out. No problem. So many reviews about the value of Tecton double impacts. Can you think of a similar contender for a full range speaker for two channel listening in a $3,000 to $4,000 per price range? Well, I've never heard the double impacts, so I don't know. I mean, what Eric is doing is it's unique, right? I mean, it's his own thing, and so trying to compare a Tecton speaker to something else is a bit challenging. They do have a sound. There's no doubt about that. Um, what do you guys think? A full range tower for 3 to 4 thousand bucks. What would you recommend or gravitate towards? I mean, for $3 or $4,000, you start getting into situations of, you know, you're close to the sapphires that I have in for review. Those are 5,000. So you're close to that. Or open baffle, it's a totally different sound. Um, if you're into do it yourself, you could do the Exoticas for definitely that price, less than that price. So, you know, totally different design, it's like, yeah, I mean, that is the thing about I think that is the secret to the success with Tecton is he gives you so much for the money is you have top to bottom resolution. You can say that is they're going to hit 20 to 20. They will for sure. So, you know, yeah, the NXoticas, and that is something you would have to take into consideration is that, you know, they're going to drop off probably around 50 in most rooms. Smaller rooms, you'll get down lower. And so you would need to also build out some H frame subs. And then at that point, you're down into the teens and you're flat down into the teens. And I'm not exaggerating. I've seen that with my own eyes. You can do it. So yeah, yeah, for 5K, you can get the entire package and you'd be good to go. So these sapphires drop down to the 30s, so pretty close to 20, Um, so you've got some options, stuff that I've heard. You definitely got some options. Um, yeah, I haven't heard a ton of stuff from Zoo Audio. So, if you guys want to make some recommendations with Zoo, you can do that. Let's see here. Oh, Polk SDA L800s. I think I can say this. I think I can. They're on their way. So how about that? Ron from New Record Day. The L800s review. It's gonna happen. So Polk, now you have to do it. You can't keep saying, "Yeah, Ron, they're coming, they're coming." Like they are actually they're coming. I mean, it's like a done deal. So I'm excited. Those jacked me up so big time at Rocky Mountain Audio Fest, and I can't wait to get them in my room and put them through their paces and see what I can do with those things. So that'll be a lot of fun. Um, yeah, I think the L800s are 6 grand. I think they are $6,000 if I remember correctly. I've been playing the last few days with positioning, and the results are wow. That's great. I'm glad to hear that. Problems with positioning and results. Problem is living room that are open to kitchen on one side, and you have a fireplace in the corner a few feet of the right of the speaker. Yeah, I hear you. I mean, there's always going to be some challenges when it comes to this method. Um, I wish I had a perfect answer for those kinds of one-off situations where it's like, Ron, I want to do this, but when I pull them out this far, I can't leave them here. you know, I've got I've got traffic here and people walking around and, whatever the case may be, furniture, fireplaces, things of that nature. So it can be a little bit challenging. So I wish there was a magic bullet for this, but there's not. You just got to do the best that you can. Maybe find some compromises. Maybe you don't, maybe you don't go as extreme as you originally wanted to go. Maybe you find a compromise. Where were they before? How far did you pull them out? Is there somewhere in between there that you can compromise and go, okay, I know that it's not as good as it was when I had them perfect, but still better than where they were when they were, back up against the wall. So, let's see here. Ron, would you rather die being smashed by a Wilson or Magico speaker? That's rather I hope it doesn't come to that. I mean all right, I'm gonna check this door to make sure it's locked. Hold on. Okay, it's locked. We're good. Yeah, no, you know what? John, I gotta tell you, I don't think Wilsons are ugly. Maybe, that's just like sauerkraut. Like you're never gonna find somebody that says, I occasionally like sauerkraut. You either love it or you don't. And for me, Wilsons, I think they're a really beautiful speaker. I think they look great. Um, have you guys seen the new flagship Magico? I mean, it's like, what? What? Crazy looking speaker. I think it's do I have this right? $750,000. Can you imagine the guy that buys those and is like, I'm just gonna use zip cord. Cables don't make a difference. I'm just gonna use zip cord. Oh man. I just lost all respect for you. Oh man. So funny. Hilarious. Have I ever tried Luxman amps? No, I haven't. I would love to try some Luxman gear. That would be a lot of fun. I would love to, but I never have. New record day. Have you ever heard or plan to review any Chinese hi-fi speakers? I would like to. I have no problems reviewing anything from China at all. In fact, I just got in this integrated amplifier. It's I hope that it's Kinky Studio, but I think it might actually be Kinky Studio. I'm like, guys, yeah, like what was that board meeting like? Hey guys, before we get to work on this, I got some ideas. We're gonna just spitball. First thing that comes to your mind, Kinky. Okay, let's run with that. Kinky Studio. But I got this beautiful integrated amplifier. It's EXM1 Plus, and yeah, it's like it's no joke. I feel like I could do the review tonight, but I'm not going to because I want to hang on to it a little bit longer and get to know it. Um, really lush sounding, smooth, and mid range that is quite holographic. Nice, really nice words to describe an amplifier, and it's obvious. It's not like, "Ron, are you sure about that?" "Yeah, no, I'm positive." Like, it's a nice and it's a powerful amplifier too. So, yeah. It is it is kinky. Oh, man. My goodness sakes. Yeah, so anyways, Kinky Studio, EXM1 Plus. Beautiful. Big, giant freaking knobs on the front that are like the kinda it's like this kinda knob where you go to turn it and you're like, "Oh, I actually have to turn this." Like, it's like, "You wanna pick a fight with me? Alright, cool." It's like it's like that. It's just nice. It's like, "Wow. Wow." Really cool. Fun stuff. Um, is that kinky, smooth like a pass? Yes, John. That's it. I would say that it is swimming in that same channel. This is my fish. This is my kinky fish. Yeah, I think that's exactly it. I think you just nailed it. I think so. Yeah. Let's see here. Ron, speaking of China, how about reviewing some Usher audio speakers from Taiwan, the Mini Dancer 2s in particular? There is a distributor in California. I'd be happy to. Yeah, I've actually heard of Usher speakers over the years, many, many times. I've never actually gotten my ears on them, so I'd be happy to. Big knobs. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. So I gather the 300B tube amp is a thing. I can afford 4K for a pair of monos, but a do-it-yourself version or a 300B comparison might be interesting. Master level video, I'm sure, but yeah. Yeah. Speaking of 300Bs, if you guys have been wondering what in the heck happened to the Manleys, for those that have been following me for a while, like Ron, what happened, man? Nothing bad. We actually ran into an issue with one of them, and I don't know if it was my fault. It might have been my fault. I don't know, but the negative feedback switch, it's like a pot on top. It's got these little steps on it. I think it was faulty. I don't know if I just got too crazy one night, like I'm gonna turn this, and it broke. I felt really bad about it, and Ivana Manley is awesome, super cool, and she's like, "Dude, don't worry about it. Send it back, and we'll get it repaired and get it right back to you." And that this was like right around the time of like COVID, and it's just like it's been hard. A lot of these smaller companies like that, man. It's like, wow, it's tough. They got a skeleton crew, and so it's taken some time to get it back. But I got to tell you guys, um, I miss. I was having a lot of fun with those. Like, whoa, whoa, And here's the thing about hi-fi, and I think we can all agree. I feel like I have the best job in the world. It's like I can't afford those. I'm not. This isn't going to be one of those situation that even after I'm done with the review and they're like, "Hey, we have accommodation pricing or whatever." Like, no, I can't buy those. But dudes, let me tell you something. Those it's like one of those products that you turn on, you fire up and you're like, this is worth every single penny. Like genuine. Like you're going, this is actually worth every single dime. Oh man, they sounded amazing. Amazing. Magic, right? Just right out of the gate. Just magical. Yeah. Brian is asking, anyone here buy a XLS Encore kit lately? Can you message me privately? Had a question. Brian, you can ask the question here, man. There's no problem with that. Um, let's see here. Sparkler Audio, the Japanese first watt, 7 and 25-watt solid state amps designed and built by one artisan. That's interesting. I've never even heard of that, Martin. Sparkler Audio? Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. I'm gonna bookmark that. This better not be like I'm about to get rickrolled. No. Sparkler Audio. Sure enough. Huh. Okay. All right, bookmarked. I'll check it out. Interesting. All right, let's see here. Hmm. Damn, I don't want to. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Brian, that's fine. I mean, if you don't want to say anything out loud, that's fine. Any recommendation to set up the M3 Sapphires? Same recipe that you share? Yes, it is the same recipe. Exact same. If you follow lots with anything open baffle, you are about to be a happy camper. So if you follow my directions, you will be you'll be ready to rock and roll. Yes, absolutely. John Evans had a pair of Zoo Omens before picking up the Spatials. They're okay, but honestly, a vintage pair of Klipsch KG4s or similar heritage lines sound a lot better. Okay. It looks like you guys are helping each other out. I appreciate you doing that. Hey, big boss, $5. Hey, thank you. Thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Thank you. How would you describe the sound signature of somewhat affordable Sonos Faber speakers? What speakers would they compare to? VO, I've never heard anything from them. outside of at the shows, and I don't like to draw conclusions at shows. It's usually a terrible environment to try to really sink your teeth into how a speaker is supposed to sound. So I don't know. Let me just see here. Have you heard of Deckware Audio? Yes, I have. Their website sells open baffle speakers starting at $4.99 a pair. Excuse me. They have a YouTube channel to hear the speakers and amps. Yes, and the drivers that they are using is from a company called Lee Audio, Lii Audio, and I'm actually working with them right now. And I have some of their drivers in house, so I can now talk about that, which is awesome. I'm going to be throwing those on some boards and walking you guys through like do it yourself open baffle type situations and see where we land, see what it sounds like. So, yes, totally familiar and working with that the same company that supplies the drivers, to Deckware. So it's exciting. Take care, Jeremy. Let's see here. I actually had a pair of KG 2.4s a long time ago and I actually liked them as well. Throw some tubes on those and they're pretty cool. Oh, hey, here's a good question. Did shit give you a time constraint for the gear they landed you? They sent me some stuff to review, but haven't contacted me back on when to return it. Keep up the good work, Ron. Hey, Benny. So I actually planned on sending all of the shit gear back to shit when I was done. So I reached out to them and I asked them if I may hang on to it as a reference for a little bit longer because I have a bunch of stuff that's coming in that I think would mate really well with it. But then I also asked, and on top of that, could we work out a situation where I review the soul? Because I think that that is very appropriate for my channel. And their answer was yes, we would love for that to happen. They just don't have any samples at this time. And so the shit gear is here to stay. It sounds like as long as I need it to stay, which is awesome. I love it when I have like long-term loans where I can just keep using it and putting it through its paces and trying it with different gear down the road. And hopefully I'll get a soul and we can check that out because it looks like a nice little deck. So but what I would recommend to you, Benny, since it sounds like you're a reviewer, I'll check out your channel. Um, you should definitely follow up with them and communicate like, hey, when do you need this back? Do you need it back? And if you've done that, then that's all you can do, man. So yeah. Ron, did you ever have a boombox back in the day? Yes, I did. I actually worked for Best Buy as well as Circuit City in the audio department, if you can imagine that. And yeah, I actually had many of boomboxes, Magnavox, Iowa, Sony, all plastic stuff. Yes, definitely. Hey, Ron, got a record suggestion that would be spooky after lots. Thank you. Mikey, I got a lot of recommendations for you. One artist. Oh, I'm gonna screw this up. I should not have done this. This was a bad idea. I posted this on my Instagram. If you guys aren't following me on Instagram, I'm on there thanks to my wife. She rocks with that. The artist is Dominique. It's Canadian, French Canadian. It's FILS dash AIME. Her. That record is Stay Tuned. The track that you want to listen to, actually, the two tracks is track 3 and track 4. Track 3 is Where There Is Smoke, and then track 4 is There Is Probably Fire. Let me tell you guys something. I mean, layering and depth and staging and precision and tone, it's got it all. So, highly recommend that. Lee Audio Fast 10 is an awesome speaker, as good as the Crystal. That's great to know. I've got the Fast 8, and then I'm getting some open baffle subs. some woofers that are appropriate for open baffle subs from them here as well. Some big 15s. Mike is asking, and Mike, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that. Hey Ron, do you think DSP like Dirac can give a better 3D sound stage, or is that only achieved by the room sound and expensive gear? I have LS50Ws. This is a great question. I am very familiar with Dirac. I have the NADM10, which has Dirac built into it. I have used it a lot, and it's been my experience that where how do I say this? Where Dirac shines has nothing to do with soundstage at all. I think where it really shines is how well it does with lower frequencies, with fixing bass problems. And so with Dirac, you can set up a curtain, what's called a curtain, where you tell it, I only want you to fix up to a certain point, and then I don't want you to touch anything else. Because if I enable Dirac on everything, I actually feel like when we start talking about things that happen within the stage, spatial cues, depth, layering, resolution, all of that kind of hey, I actually feel like that is it's lobbed off. It's cut out. And I don't like that at all about Dirac. So and that's not to say that this is like a with Dirac. I think that I have noticed this exact same thing with just about any kind of room correction software out there. And so getting a 3D soundstage, I think that if that is really important to you, you are always going to be best off by approaching that from acoustic treatment on the walls. And what you would want to read if you're going for adding depth to a room, width to a room, making the room sound larger than what it is diffusion. So that would be my recommendation. Um, okay, trying not to reveal too much, but has anyone noticed any issue with the nickel plating on the magnet of their XLS drivers? So Brian's asking anybody that like recently got XLS drivers from research, have you noticed any issues with the nickel on the magnet? And Brian, I'll ask you, have you reached out to Danny and asked him questions? You might want to do that if you haven't. He's great to work with. Um, masking tape is here and ready. That's awesome. That's good to know. Yes, the soul would be awesome. Would you also take the Manny to review? Absolutely. I would keep it within the shit family. And yeah, I would definitely do that. Honestly, you should work out a giveaway deal. Value of your gear they entice you is quite meaningless. The advert and press continued review and giveaway is likely much higher than the return. I've thought about that, Jeremy. I've thought about that. We'll see how this all ends out. Holy crap, Circuit City, laugh out loud. One of my early teenage boom boxes was an Iowa setup. That's awesome. John Evans, thank you so much, man. Yeah, and please, honestly, reach out to me, give me a buzz. I work from home. You know, this is my job now. Thank you for everyone for watching my videos and supporting us. We do appreciate it. All you patrons as well. Thank you so much. And thank you for this, John. I really do appreciate it. I'm happy to help you guys out to the best of my ability. So yeah, yeah. Ron, what's your MySpace? Oh man, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. Mark, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Thank you for all the useful videos and insights. Have really enjoyed your videos over the last few months. Also applied your lot setups to my room and it was very rewarding. My setup is an Arkham SA20 with Revel M106s. Mark, that made my day. I'm so glad that it's working well for you. It took a long time to kind of get that ironed out in a way to where I could do a video about it and like make it so it's easy enough to follow. I know that the math in there got a little bit dicey for some folks. They're like, well, it's decimals instead of, feet, and it's, 110 into 112. It's like, no, no, no. I need people to just make it as easy as possible. And that was the intent. And I'm so glad. I'm so glad that it's working out well for you. Brian says, yes, you have wanted to see if the issue that you had was common. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't gotten anything recent from Brian, so I mean from Danny, so I don't know. Yeah. Let's see here. Who remembers Silo? I don't know. Sorry if this was already asked, just got on. Would there be any changes to the lots process when your listening space is a small corner of a larger room? No. No, I don't think that it would change actually. Um, I think that if you can, what in that corner of that room, if you can create the invisible boundaries of what your total listening space is, that is the space that I would use to start masking everything and kind of going from there and playing around with it. That's what I would do. So, yeah. What do you think about the XSLS Encore? Would you prefer them to the Bookshelves XLS? Um, yeah, Brian, I totally hear what you're saying, man. No worries, no worries. I don't think you're making it a big deal at all, and I would be concerned about that too. I'd be like, hey, what's going on here? Is it normal? But yeah, reach out. Danny's always. I remember when I built my NX Exoticas, one of the drivers was dead on arrival. Just it sounded like it was blown, and yeah, took a phone call. He's like, "Yeah, man, no worries, I got you. I'll send you another one." Probably just bad from the batch. Who knows? It happens. Um, the I'm sorry, Mike. I got sidetracked. Sidetracked. Mikey is asking the XSLS. That is, I believe, the floor standing version of the XLS. I've never heard it. I would imagine that it sounds a lot like the XLS, except you're going to have deeper bass because if I remember correctly from looking over Danny's site, um, what he's doing in that example is the woofer is now playing in the appropriate size box, whereas in the XLS, it's actually a smaller box than what the driver optimally wants to see. And so you're able to get a bit deeper bass out of it is what I'm pretty sure that's it. So, yeah. Uh hey, we got Hi-Fi in here. If you guys don't know Hi-Fi Haven, um super super kind guy. He makes his rounds to all of us on YouTube, all of us reviewers, and you will never hear him say a bad thing. It's just always positive, and we all recognize that, and it's appreciated. We put a lot of hard work into this, and you know, it's taken me all this time to not take things so darn seriously when somebody starts trolling, but it's great when you have the opposite of that, which is somebody like Hi-Fi, where it's like everything's positive, you know. So super, super nice, super cool, really, really kind. Um, yeah. In a rectangular room, would you suggest speakers on the long or shorter walls for lots? If you have the ability to experiment, then experiment. Am I saying that right? Did my brain just stop working? Then I would try both. I would do the entire lots procedure because I'm crazy. We're all audiophiles, so I think we're all crazy. I would actually do both. I would start on the long wall myself because I like that depth, that layering type depth type thing that you can get. And I would start there. I would do the lots process and I would see where you land. And then I would try, short wall. or the long wall, whichever wall you didn't try, try that wall next. And I would actually try both and experiment with both. Pretty soon I'm going to start saying button, experiment. Yeah, that's what you want to do. Trying to think, I've got a lot of cool stuff in. I'm still waiting on this Mac Mini upgrade. Really good friend of mine is the brainchild of those, the Mac Minis, and I'm just waiting any day now. But I'm no longer using my MacBook Pro as my source. Hmm, what am I using? I am messing around with Inuos. Have you guys messed around with Inuos? You know who Inuos is? I think it's Portugal, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the Zen Mark III server. It's I know a lot about computers. I used to be a big computer geek. It looks like it's a glorified computer from what I can tell. Little mini ITX motherboard, but it does have a linear power supply, CD-ROM hard drive, and then a customized operating system. And yeah, I have that in the rig, and it's bizarre. It's actually jacking me up because follow along with me. You have a computer that you're ripping CDs to, or Rune. I use it for Rune as well, and it's tethered through Ethernet, right? And then from USB to that computer going into a DAC. And because I've been messing around with digital, I've always had this idea that it really doesn't matter what you're plugging into the DAC. I mean, once it's in the DAC, then the DAC is like, now I'm here to fix everything, you know? And I think to a certain degree that is maybe true, but I was really shocked at the difference of going from a MacBook Pro to this Inuos server. Dynamics, base dynamics was the immediate thing. Like, what? What? Yeah, unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's like you learn these things and it's just like, wow, so that actually makes a big difference. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's one more dang thing we got to buy. It's like, ah, son of a gun. Martin, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. You don't have to have OCD for this hobby, but it helps. That is true. Yes. Do you have any speaker stands that you recommend? Do you think that doing do-it-your stands would be more valuable? I have built my own stands, but I actually like the monoprice stands, to be honest with you. They're sturdy, they're built really well. You can fill them up with kitty litter or sand or cooked rice, whatever you want to do. Please don't put cooked rice in your stands. That's a bad idea. Um, Unless you don't like New Record Day. You're gonna love it. Cook up some rice and put it in your stands. Oh man. Yeah, but Mikey, for sure. Check out the monoprice stands. Like I'm telling you, they're affordable and they're awesome. They're really nice. I'd like to hear your thoughts on cherry amps. Reach out to them for some review units. I picked up a pair of cherry monoblocks recently. They are the smoothest sounding Class D I've ever heard so far. John, you know what? I actually am talking to Tommy. I haven't. He actually reached out to me and was interested in sending me some stuff, and so we're chatting. And Clayton from Spatial Audio, he has tried some of their amps, and he was telling me just the other day, he's like, "Bro, really good stuff." And so when Clayton says that, usually I just stop everything that I'm doing, like set the baby down. Be like, hold on, baby, stay there. I gotta go and send an email. You know. So yeah, I'm hoping that we can make that happen. I have a feeling that they're gonna be a lot of fun. So that sounds like it's like right down the road, you know. It should happen anytime soon now. Brian Frober, Brian, you're asking New Record Day, what's the name of the software? In the Inuos, I think it's their own custom. It's like their own operating system that they have built from the ground up. I'm pretty sure I have that right. I have a call scheduled with the owner of Inuos, or somebody from Inuos is going to talk to me, and we're going to talk about all these things. But if I'm not mistaken, the software is theirs. It's proprietary to them. They developed it for their products, and so yeah. Inuos is a glorified PC, but Thomas swears it sounds incredible. I would agree. Yeah, the Zen Mark III, he's got the Zenith, I think, which is a step up from mine. But the Zen Mark III, right out of the gates, no joke, no BS, no hyperbole, clearly smashed my MacBook Pro. Like I was like, oh, okay. Like it's a big enough of a difference that I think if I was to do some sound clips, you guys would be like, really? Like it's that big of a difference. So maybe I'll do that. Hi-Fi Heaven. You were asking, I have a pair of Emotiva T1 Plus speakers. Do you think biamping would be worth it? Have a plethora of Adcom GFA 5400s. If you have a plethora of them, then I would say you should try it. I think that biamping is one thing that I would experiment with if you do have the same amplifier, and that's the important key thing here is, um, yeah, yeah, I think that you should give that a shot and let us know what happens. Dax can't quite fix everything. I got a USB to SPDIF converter clocker and instantly heard the difference from the computer. Yeah, and that's like a whole other thing is I guess that there's oh man, we're gonna get in deep here. Holy smokes. Um, there's like reclockers. What? A reclocker? Now I gotta get a reclocker. Dang it, I thought I was done, but yeah, there's like ways to fix problems with USB. I guess that USB has some drawbacks, some problems, and so you can get. I know that Ineos makes like a reclocker, which is like another couple of G's, of course. So yeah, audiophile cooked rice. Where do I get it? I should start selling. I should start selling it. I think that I could actually convince. You guys know where I'm going with this, right? Like, cooked by Ron from New Record Day. Whoa. Cooked rice, put it in the stands, make it sound better. Ron said it would work. What's the worst that can happen? Oh my goodness sakes. Ron, I just reviewed the shit Mobius stack. Basically, a refined Modi 3 with XLRs. Did you want to try it out? I can send it in about a week after my comparison video to the Aeon X8. Maybe, TJ. I might take you up on that. That's very kind of you. I might I might say yes. Let's chat. Shoot me an email, give me a call. We'll talk. Clocks matter in digital. Yeah, right. Yep, that's all. Ooh, shit in cherry shoot off. That would be interesting. That would be interesting. That would be interesting. Yeah. Let's see here. Here's an interesting question. I'm going to ask everybody in here to answer. Tomorrow, you find yourself on an island. You're given $1,000 to build a system. What do you get? $1,000. What do you get for a full system? Oh, you're not going to get much. I would probably IOTA VX SA3, and I would build some ecstatics. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. I think that's the rig that I would do at $1,000. Ron, can you do a review on RME ADI2 DAC? Thanks. Jingle Nuts, maybe. RME is one of those that's going to be a tricky situation, right? A lot of the audiophile centric brands, they answer emails, right? But we're talking about RME, which is a big corporation, big company. Uh, it can be a little bit challenging to get somebody to listen to you, but I can certainly send some emails. Yeah. Yeah, I'll do some comparison clips, Brian, for sure. No doubt about that, man. For sure. Yeah, Cherry is no joke. I was also skeptical going into it. They compare favorably to my past INT30A. Wow. Wow. Yeah, and Hi-Fi Heaven, let us know, man. I'll be curious. Yeah. Let's just see here. Off topic. If anyone likes the Beastie Boys, check out their new documentary. It's great. I completely agree. And yeah, it was awesome. I watched it. It was fantastic. What's your thoughts on a great value 3.25 horsepower plunge router? Just saying, sunglasses emoji. Oh my goodness sakes, man! I know nothing about routers. You should have seen me when I got into like building speakers and like doing this stuff. Me and Home Depot, I mean, they can sniff you out. They're like, "That guy doesn't even know how to hang a shelf. What is he doing looking at routers? He's gonna kill himself. What the heck?" And, yeah, I got 2 routers. I got a little handheld one, a Makita handheld one, little guy, and I use that for trimming veneer, and it's great. It's easy to handle, especially with noodle armatitis. We've talked about that before. And then I got a, Porter was it Porter cable? Porter something? Router. And I think I just got it based on the dude's recommendation, you know? Guy looked like a giant, and he's like, "This is the one you want." I was like, "Okay. Alright, man. Cool. Alright. Thanks." I need a huge SPL for a deserted island. That is hilarious. Oh my goodness sakes. That is hilarious. So, NX Studio build, question mark, question mark, question mark. Yeah, here's the deal with that. Um, I have everything that I need to do that. Pause. It is the original concept or idea of the kit, which is Danny basically just giving us a front baffle, and then I go out and I build the rest of it, right? I can do that. I actually am confident I can pull that off. But things got interesting when I think I can say this, and if I can't, then I'll deal with the consequences. Um, Peter Rawlings has a CNC machine and has been messing around with doing some flat packs for the NX Studio. So this would be a different situation where no longer are we using table saws to do the cuts. We have a CNC machine doing it for us. And I am pausing and I'm waiting for Danny to put the kit together, measure it, make sure it's perfect. And if it is, then I'm going to go with that because then I'm out of the equation, right? So if Ron screws something up, then no worries, whatever. I have a kit that I can put together. And more importantly, it's a kit that can be offered to people. Like, hey, you don't need a table saw, man. Like, here's a CNC flat pack for these. And so everybody should email Danny tonight. Seriously. Info at GR Research. Blast his email and say, hey, quit being lazy and measure that studio kit from Peter. Do it. He'd call me in the morning. Man, what'd you do? Email blew up, Ron. Let's see here. You guys are funny. Daryl, hi Ron, I love your videos. Daryl, thank you so much. I appreciate that, man. Let's see here. Scrolling down, scrolling down, scrolling down, trying to catch up to you guys. All right, I'm actually caught up. That's good. Let's see here. Ron, half serious question. Would you build my Philharmonic BMR flat pack kit and do a video tutorial on it? Have you listened to the BMR from Dennis Murphy? Theo, I have not. I actually am interested in it. I've heard good things about it. Uh Shoot me an email. Ron at New Record Day. Let's chat about it. Let's talk about it. I think that would be a lot of fun. We'll just duct tape it. You're like, never mind, Ron. Never mind. Wait till he reads my email. Hey, Brian, that's hilarious, man. First of all, what are you jacking up all these nickel plate? What are you doing? Also, measure that speaker, you lazy Texan. Oh, man, that's hilarious. Oh, funny. All right, guys, we are an hour and 15 minutes in. My wife and I are addicted to Waco. You guys watching Waco on Netflix? Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. A little bit dramatic. Probably most of it didn't actually happen that way, but it is interesting. I want to at least get an hour of that showing before we go to bed. 8:47. Yeah, we're doing fine. Yeah, I said that I would go until 9 o'clock. So yeah, I'm here till 9. What other questions do you guys have? Any hi-fi audio YouTubers you recommend? I recommend them all, and that's not like a BS answer. I think it's important to hear everybody's opinion before you make a decision. And a lot of the stuff that we review kind of circulates, like where often that's the way it works, right? Is that a company sees what we're doing, sees the potential of YouTube reviewers, and sends out emails to everybody, and then we all either bite or we don't bite. Or it just comes by recommendation from one YouTube reviewer to another. We all, for the most part, know each other. And I think it's important that you guys listen to what everybody's saying. And if we're talking about setting aside the hyperbole, right? But if we're all describing similar things about the product, then the chances are that's what you can expect. And so I think it's smart to do that. Um, I wish I had more time to watch other channels, and I try to watch as many as I can. There's a lot of gifted reviewers out there, and I am beyond grateful that they're doing what they're doing. It's like, hey, yeah, let's get some more eyes on hi-fi, and I think that it's a great way to do it. So yeah, that's where my heart is for sure. Any new music that you would recommend, David? I mentioned it earlier. Um, it is Dominique Feels Amy. I'm not saying it right. I apologize. Amazing. Wow. Album is Stay Tuned, and it is incredible. Whew, so good. Highly recommended. You know what I need to do is I need to release my I have a playlist called Audiophile Treats. It's over 100 songs of just songs that I use when I do like the lot setup. Um and there's a lot of gems in there. I'll have to get that out to you guys so you can check it out. What color did you paint the tweeters on the AVOs? Mikey, what I used was it's you know the hammered spray paint that you see at Home Depot? It actually says hammered on it. I think it's Rust-Oleum. I wanna say it was the copper or the bronze. Copper or bronze hammered. I can't remember. But yeah, I thought it looked really cool. Yeah, it looks neat. Uh, Torin, the British audiophile, good channel. Yeah, Torin is a sweetheart of a guy and super intelligent. He's a smart reviewer. Um, I I remember when he first got started, he sent me an email like asking for advice, and it's been a pleasure to see him kind of grow. And he's growing, and that's awesome. It's exciting to see that. Anytime that I see that, we all win. There is this is a win-win-win situation for everybody. It's like I want hi-fi to be talked about more, and so whenever we have guys like that that are starting up their channels and they're, in the trenches and cranking out some great videos, it's awesome, it's exciting. So, yeah, Torrin is a good guy. Let's just see here. Gold Hammered. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, Joe has he has my, AVOs. He's been checking them out. Rune review. Yeah, I could do that. I could do a rune review. I wonder what that would be like. Huh. Kinda, like, talk about how I use it, why I use it, what I like about it. Yeah, I could do that. Okay, okay. That gives me some ideas. I can do that. Um, Trying to think of some other goodies that I recently got, and you guys saw that I got in the Yamaha, which I talked about earlier. That's the AS2200. Um, I recently replaced my wall outlets, my power outlets, thinking that was gonna make, like, a huge difference. It did not. But I'll say this, the wall outlets that were in this home were the cheapest, like, cruddy, cheesy wall outlets of all time, and no, I didn't get, like, audiophile wall outlets. I went on eBay and I found some that are talked about as, like, a good, a good outlet, high quality and strong and durable and all this stuff, and I installed them, and I did a 2 gang install, and I actually first installed a cheapo next to, one of the nice ones, and I I tried doing some comparisons. Man, I felt like such a knucklehead. I was like, "There's no damn difference here." So that's that. But, I'll keep exploring. I like to have an open mind. I'll keep exploring. I'm just scrolling up on my phone to see what else I got in that I haven't talked about. Talked about the Lee audio speakers, got in some drivers. So I'll be doing some open baffle do it yourself stuff here pretty soon. I got in the Yamaha AS2200, which I'll be doing that review. Triangle Audio Borea Bro 8. Let me tell you guys, tower speaker under 1500 bucks, I think, 15 or $1600. That so far I'm like, okay, okay. These are pretty nice sounding speakers. If you're not going to go open baffle, I can't believe I forgot about this. I got the Terminator. Yeah, the Terminator. Denafrips. Yeah, that's a big boy. I mean, it's what, 4 grand? 4 or 5 grand for the Terminator. I've been listening to that, and this might be the first DAC that I plugged in, and like immediately, I was like, oh, well, okay now. All right, it's a date. I'm not going anywhere. Uh, it was like that, to be honest with you, and I am being honest with you. I'm not blowing smoke here. Depth, width, clarity within the stage using lots, of course. The sound stage was just alive, and it's one of those situations where, similar to how I feel with great analog, where it's not so much about one thing is calling attention to itself, like in terms of like detail. It's almost as if holistically the entire performance wakes up, and then you're just kind of immersed in this thing of like a performance, and you're just like stunned, like, oh, okay, well, this is a different thing altogether, isn't it? And that is what I noticed, like, right off the bat with it. So yeah, let's just see here. Ethernet cable recommendation. I get the monoprice Ethernet cables, and they're great. They work out really well. Sounds like some awesome stuff coming up. Yeah. We're gonna have a lot of fun, guys. I've got a lot of really cool gear in for review, and yeah, we're gonna be having some fun. Have you listened? Let's just see here. Have you listened to the Triangle Genesee Trio? Heard my friends pair a couple weeks ago, and wow, they sound good. I have not, but I should be able to make that happen without any problems. So I'll keep you posted on that. Um, oh, Nick, thanks for joining us. Yeah, I'm actually just finishing up right now. We got just a few more minutes. I'm going to call it a night. Um, Let me just see if I missed anything. Scroll up. Hey, Mikey, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Yeah, Peter's XLS flat pack is $140 plus shipping. An easy, high quality CNC build. Way worth it. I totally agree. Like, I don't get it. I, I'm telling you, he sent me an early version of the flat pack, and I was blown away by the quality. I was like, "Wow, you are not messing around." I mean, he's put a lot of thought into it. It's amazing. He did a great job. What do you think about Spotify? I don't. I don't use Spotify, so I don't think about it. I use Tidal and Cobuzz, and both of those are integrated through Rune. I just don't use Spotify, and it's not because I I've just always used Tidal and Cobuzz. That's the truth. So, yeah, no knock on them. I don't use Spotify. Yeah, Hi-Fi Heaven. Again, thank you so much. For always being so positive and cool, and keep us posted on your biamping adventures. Hopefully, you wake some things up with that, and turns out well for you. All right, guys. What's your favorite DAC to date? So far, it would be the Terminator. It would be, being honest. And DACs that I currently have in house, just to kind of give you a frame of reference, I have the Lampizator Amber 3 DAC, which is probably a second. I really like what that DAC is doing quite a bit. I have the PS Audio Direct Stream DAC, and then I have the Bifrost 2 DAC. And for me, the Terminator is just like it's really something else. I'm really connecting with that DAC for sure. So, all right, guys. Good night, everybody. Stay safe. Yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video. Enjoy setting up your speakers. If you have any more questions about lots, send them my way, ron at newrecordday.com. And yeah, happy to help you guys out. So we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye bye.